Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. I am madly in love with makeup. If you are too, I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So I finally filmed my eyeshadow palette collection video. It took me a lot longer than I had anticipated, and as I was filming it, it was just getting longer and longer and longer. So I decided to just go ahead and split it into two videos. I just wanted to say a few things before I get started with the video. Number one, I am extremely well aware that I have more eyeshadow than one person or 10 people need. I have been collecting eyeshadow palettes for close to 3 years, and the majority of the palettes that I have, I've either been given them or I received them in an Ipsy or a BoxyCharm. I do get gift cards for my birthday and Christmas, and I typically always use those to buy myself makeup with. Or I got them on a really good deal from their website or at Ulta or at Ross's, Marshall's, TJ Maxx, that sort of thing. I do have a monthly makeup budget, and I usually stick to that pretty well. And sometimes I don't buy any makeup in the month. A couple months will pass and I just don't buy anything. So it's never affected my ability to like pay my bills or buy my groceries, help my kids out, that sort of thing. It's just something that I really enjoy doing just for me. It's like the only indulgence that I really have. So I just love it. The second thing is I do not want to come across as bragging or boasting about my palettes. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just colored powder. I mean, if I had 15 Porsches in my driveway, I would be like, oh yeah, but I don't. So I just love watching other creators show their eyeshadow palette collections. I know I have gotten a lot of amazing palettes based on their suggestions or things they really enjoy. And I just thought it would be fun to come on here and show you my eyeshadow palette collection. So without any further ado, I want you to relax, kick back, and get ready. Roll it. Hi guys, this is my eyeshadow palette collection video. Yay! I'm probably not going to be swatching anything. I have a ton of palettes to get through and we would be here for way too long. I am going to be showing you each of my palettes, talking to you about my thoughts and feelings, the formula, that sort of thing. There are a few palettes in here that I still have not used. I've kind of been setting some aside to do like first impression type videos with you guys. So I'll let you know if I haven't used the palette. But I thought I would do this by brand. I do have a group of palettes that I'm going to start off with that I only have one palette from the brand, if that makes any sense. I think it'll make sense as I go through it. So without any further ado, make yourself comfortable, relax, and let's get started. All right, so the first palette I have is this Kaja Beauty Bento Box little stack palette. I got this in a BoxyCharm. This is called the Chocolate Dahlia. This comes in a few different color varieties. There's a pink one. I got that one too and gave it to my daughter. There's an orange one, kind of a burgundy toned one, and I think a lighter brown one than this as well. The top shadow here is kind of a sand colored shimmer. I really like this. I think it's a nice formula, very pretty on the lid. The middle shade here is kind of a lighter brown transition shade. And then at the bottom here, you have a deepening dark brown. And I've really enjoyed using this little palette. The formula is fine. And I think it would be perfect for travel if that ever happens again. But yeah, I was really happy to get this in my BoxyCharm and I really like it. The next one is the Huda Beauty Smoky Obsessions. I also got this in a BoxyCharm. There is a huge variety of colors in her Obsessions line, and I would really like to try some more of these because I really do like the formula of this palette. This silver shade here, this silver shimmer, is absolutely gorgeous, and I really like the black matte. I use that as a liner, and it just looked really pretty. The whole color story is neutral, obviously, but I do really like the formula, and I think it's been nice to use, and I'm looking forward to getting some more of her Obsessions palettes. The next one is the Tarte Tartlet in Bloom. This was one of the first palettes I ever got. I haven't used it a ton, but I do really like the looks I've created when I have used it. The thing about this palette that I really enjoy is that the shimmers are really nice for mature lids. They're very soft, very subtle. It's not going to provide you with a real bam shimmer look, but I do think they're really pretty, and the mattes are really nice, very easy to use, very beginner friendly. It's got this really cool kind of vanilla chocolate scent to it, and yeah, I really like this palette. I think it's very pretty, and I love the front of it too. I think it's very nice. The next one is the Nabla Cutie Platinum Palette. This is a beautiful neutral palette. It's kind of got a mix of cool and warm tones. This Silver Luxuriance is my absolute favorite silver shimmer that I own. I just think it's gorgeous, and the mattes are really nice. There's two here, one here and one down here. And then these other shimmers are really nice too. I really enjoy Nabla's formula, and I would like to get more Nabla palettes as time goes on. There's a few cutie palettes in this series that look really nice, and I was very impressed with this palette. The next one is a palette that I actually created on my own. This is through Wii Makeup. It's an Italian indie brand. This one is all shimmers. It's really fun to go on their website because they have a wide variety of different shades and textures, and I am so impressed with the formula of this brand. It's hard to tell, but this shimmer shade here kind of shifts to a blue. This one shifts to kind of a pinky orange, and this one shifts to a yellow. You just can't really tell. Maybe a little bit there. The shimmer, the formula of this palette is a little stiff. I find it works better when you use a wet or damp brush. But yeah, I really, really like the formula, and definitely want to go back on their website and create another palette. That was really fun to do that. And I just think it's super cute. Girl powder. Hello. The next palette here is a US indie brand called Badass Beauties. This is their Field Op palette. This is a USMC woman veteran owned brand, and they really just want to bring props to the women in the military, which I think is amazing. This is a really grungy color story. I've only used this once, but I really liked it, and I thought it might be fun to create a look with you guys in a video. So if you'd be interested in seeing that, please let me know. Obviously, it's got some military names in here, which I think is cool. Foxhole, Flak, Silver Bullet. The shimmers are really nice. The mattes are great. I really liked the look that I created with this. And I just think it's really cool that they are supporting women in the military. I think that's great. I know I couldn't do it, and thankful that there are other women in the world that can. This next palette is the Interstellar palette from Prism Makeup. I got this from Amazon. My dad is really sweet and will buy me gift cards to Amazon every year for my birthday and for Christmas. So I just always go a little crazy buying makeup. This is a dupe for the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I really like the formula of this. As you can see, I've panned a couple shades. But yeah, I just thought this was really nice. It's probably not as good a quality as the Urban Decay original, but yeah, it's kind of a muted rainbow color story, and I've really enjoyed using this. The next one is the Xno Valkyrie Palette. This is another US indie brand. Katie from Makeup for Last Time, she created a look with this in a video, and I just fell in love. Plus, my husband is of Swedish descent, so he likes the Scandinavian kind of theme to the palette, so that's cool. I love this beautiful blue shimmer. It's called Bifrost, and this black Raven matte is just amazing. I love the shade names, and I love the color story. I really want to try more from this brand. I was so impressed with the formula of this palette. I've created some beautiful looks with this, and yeah, highly recommend checking into Xno Cosmetics. And look at the front. It's awesome. Totally badass. This next palette is one that I just purchased. This is a UK indie brand, Makeup by Lisa. My friend and mentor, Not Your Basic Stuff, turned me onto this brand, and I just think this is so gorgeous. This is your Out of This World eyeshadow palette. Purple color story. This red is just spectacular, kind of a reddish pink. This is a pressed glitter, and it looks amazing. Steph has a video where she created a look with this, and I just fell in love. So I'm really looking forward to playing with this. I haven't used it yet. I was thinking about maybe creating a look with this in a video. I also have some single shimmers that I got from the brand. So yeah, really excited, and I just think the packaging and the color story is gorgeous. The next palette is the Ciate London Editor palette. Now, I got this in a BoxyCharm. The color story is, you know, kind of a neutral with some pops of color. I can honestly say that this is not my favorite palette in my collection. It's not bad. It's just not my favorite. The color story's fine, but the formula of the shimmers just wasn't my favorite. The mattes are okay, but the shimmers, I felt like I had to put a lot of shadow on my lid to have them really show up. And I don't know, I want to play with this some more. I've only used it a couple times, but definitely not one of my top 10 favorites in my collection. This next palette is the Yasmine palette. This is from Milani Beauty. Now, this brand has unfortunately gone out of business. The owner also had a brand prior to Milani Beauty called Blush Tribe, and I completely missed out on that brand. So bummed, because there were some really nice palettes in that brand. I did get this on their final sale, so this is no longer available, and I hate to show palettes that you can't readily get, but I did want to show you this because I just think the color story is so gorgeous. This purple shade Nadia is just spectacular. I really like this formula. The shimmers are great, the mattes are nice. Yeah, it's just a really pretty palette. Just unfortunate that they went out of business. I'm bummed. The next palette is one that I picked up at my local drugstore. This is a Rimmel palette, the Magnifies Electric Violet edition. This comes in a few other color stories as well. I just saw this, it was on sale. I thought it was a pretty color story, so I figured I'd just try out the brand. It's not the best, it's not the worst. The shimmers are really nice and the mattes are nice too. However, the mattes are pretty dusty and they kind of blend away to nothing. So you have to use a lot for them to show up. But it was really cheap and it's fine. It's just not my favorite. I have a lot of other palettes that I would probably use before this. So who knows? I may not keep this for much longer. Maybe see if my daughter can make more use out of this than I can. The next palette is the Safari Rain by Colored Rain. This is another indie brand that I absolutely love. This is such a beautiful grungy color story. I just love it. This green matte here is so nice. I love this shimmer here that's called Tigress. Love it. Yeah, I've really enjoyed using this palette and I highly recommend this brand. I know they have a really pretty rainbow palette and just some other really beautiful palettes. So I definitely want to try more from this brand, but have been very impressed with this palette and have created some really beautiful looks with it. So, and I love the color story. Love it. The Maybe Cosmetics Take Me to Stockholm palette. I absolutely love this brand. They have some of the most beautiful color stories in their palettes. I do have a blush from them that I absolutely love. I think this is a really unique color story. You can go more soft, you can go more bold. The shimmers are great, the mattes are beautiful. This pink matte is really nice. Love the black matte. I'm always on the hunt for the perfect black matte shade, and this does pretty well. The shade's called Minimal, and I just think the packaging and the palette all in one is just cute. Really, really cute. This next palette is the Athena palette from Dido Cosmetics. I got this in my Ipsy. I love the front. I just think it's so cool. She's gorgeous. And the color story is really pretty. It's got a really nice variety of neutrals, but yet it also has these really pretty kind of pea green and yellow shades, this light blue here, matte. And I've used this a couple of times. I really enjoy the formula. The shimmers are really pretty and really easy to apply, and the mattes blend really easily. So yeah, I think this is a great palette and would definitely like to try more from this brand. I don't really know much at all about this brand, but I mean, look at the front of that palette. It's awesome. The next one is the Nomad Tokyo Harajuku palette. I talked about this palette in my favorite eyeshadow palettes for spring. I absolutely love the packaging. I think it is super cute. This formula is awesome, and it's a really unique layout. So the top row is all mattes, then we have a row of satins, and then we have a row of just phenomenal shimmers. I know not everybody likes satin shades, but I personally think that they're wonderful. I really want to use this during the spring. I think this will be perfect for this time of year, like I said in my other video. But yeah, I love Nomad Cosmetics, and I definitely want to get more from the brand. It's shocking to me that I only have one Nomad palette. Crazy. The next palette is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. I got this for half off their website. They were having a really good sale and went ahead and got it. I really like the color story of this palette. A couple of the shimmers are kind of sheer, like this pink one right here is not my favorite. And then this silvery kind of pewter color isn't my favorite either. But this green, the gold, and I think these two I really liked as well. The mattes are really nice. It has this really cool chocolate scent to it. And yeah, I think this is a really nice palette. If you aren't familiar with Too Faced palettes, I think this would be a great one to start with. Yeah, I would like to try more from this brand, but just haven't yet. The next one is the Sample Beauty Jewel Toned palette. I am so in love with this palette. I love the formula. I love the color story. The shimmers are beautiful. The mattes are really nice. Yeah, I've just really enjoyed playing with this palette, and I really am going to be using this a lot during the spring and the summer. Sample Beauty has some just incredible color stories in their palettes, and I definitely want to try more. I just think they're a really cool brand, and I love this palette. This next one is the Bare Beauty palette. Now, this is a Australian indie brand that I just happened to find again through Katie from Makeup for Last Time. I'm not exactly sure if this palette has a name, but the brand is Bare Beauty. I love the front of this, and the color story is just phenomenal. Beautiful green color story. Now this I have not used. I had set this aside to do like a first impressions with you guys. I thought that'd be kind of fun, and green shadows are my absolute favorite. Those pressed glitters, this one here, this one, and this one, oops, look absolutely stunning to me. And I can tell they're pretty finely milled, so I think I'll get on just fine with the formula. The mattes look gorgeous, and I'm just really excited to play with this, and just think it's a beautiful color story. The next palette is the Eloise Cosmetics The Queen palette. It says, "A queen lies in all of us." Damn right. If you open it up, this is the color story. It's very vibrant, but there is some neutral shades as well. This is yet another palette that I have not used. I had set this aside also to do a like first impressions video. I think the color story is really pretty. I love this like yellow kind of gold shimmer. So yeah, I'm really excited to play with this and just kind of find out some more about Eloise Cosmetics. The next palette is the Paris palette from Folklore. This is a very affordable brand. They have kind of a whole series of like travel palettes. I think there's like a, oh gosh, a Tokyo palette, a Turkey palette. I can't remember, but there's a bunch of them. When you open it up, this is the color story. I think this is absolutely gorgeous, and I've used this a couple of times and loved this green shimmer here. I just think it was spectacular. Sorry if can't really see the colors that well. That's better. Yeah, and I just was very impressed with it. It's, you know, it's kind of neutral, maybe not super impressive color story wise, but I enjoyed the Folklore formula. Say that 20 times fast. And just really got on well with this palette. So definitely will be using this more often too. The next one is the Pure Festival 2.0. Got this in a BoxyCharm as well. I really do like this color story. The formula, not necessarily my favorite. The shimmers are just maybe a little bit too sheer and not as easy to apply as I hope they would be. The mattes are fine. They're just not mind-blowing. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty color story, and I will use it again, but it's just not, you know, in my top 20 palettes or whatever. Yeah. So the next one I showed in my favorite springtime palettes. This is the Club Nebula, the collaboration that Angelica Nikovis did with Kaleidos. This is my only Kaleidos palette, which shocks me because this was such a joy to play with. I love this palette. I've used it a ton. I'm going to continue to use it a ton. It's got a really cool, beautiful, and unique color story. You have everything you could possibly want in a palette. I love the sci-finess of the shade names. You're My Only Hope. My husband is a huge Star Wars fan, so he thought that was really cool. But yeah, really enjoy this palette. The formula is incredible, and just really happy that Angelica was able to get her own palette. She definitely deserves it. And the front is just va-va-va-voom. The next palette is the Ace Beauté Nostalgia Palette. I got this in a BoxyCharm as well. Have not used this either. So I had put this aside again to do like a first impressions video with you guys. But I love this color story. It's so vibrant and just beautiful. So I am really interested to get to know the Ace Beauté formula. I've heard really good things about their formula, and I just think this is a really beautiful, bright, vibrant palette. The next palette is the What's the Tea by The Balm. This one I got from Ipsy. I think the front of this is so cute. I just love it. The Balm is kind of a unsung hero of the makeup world. I was really impressed with this formula. I think this is gorgeous. And the cool thing is it's got two different like primer options. You can do black or more traditional primer shade, and then when you layer these shimmers over the top of it, it totally changes the look of the shadow. So when I use this black primer here and I use this shimmer up here, it was just gorgeous. It really makes this pop. And yeah, this is a really fun palette to use. I haven't used it a ton, but I definitely want to get this out and use it again. And this shade here too, this called Kiss and Tell. This really changes color with depending on which primer that you use. So yeah, I love this palette, and I just think the packaging is so cute. I mean, look at it. It's adorable. The next palette is the Desert Vibes from IBY Beauty. I got this in a Ipsy. This is a really pretty color story. Have not used this yet. I actually kind of forgot that I even had it, but I definitely want to give this a try as well. I don't know if anybody would want to see me create a look with this. It's kind of a neutral, maybe a little bit of a boring color story, but I love my neutrals. I really like the layout of this palette, and yeah, I just think it looks really nice, and I'm excited to give it a try. The next palette is the Venice Fling by Estate Cosmetics in collaboration with Bailey Sarian. She is one of my absolute favorite creators on this platform. I've been watching her for, gosh, probably a year and a half now, and just love her. Her Makeup Murder Mystery Mondays are my favorite. I live for those. This is a really nice palette. I've used it a couple of times and really enjoyed the looks I created. The shimmers are really pretty, and so are the mattes. I love this gold shimmer here, and this purple one is really nice too. So you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shimmers, satiny type shades, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 mattes. So yeah, I think that's a nice variety of textures. And I think the color story is really pretty too. So congratulations to Bailey. She is awesome. This next palette is the Beef Perfect Cosmetics in collaboration with Stacey Marie. It's the Carnival 3 Love Tahiti. Now wait till you see the inside of this baby. This is my absolute favorite rainbow color story. The formula of this is absolutely astounding. It is so amazing. The shimmers are beautiful, especially this Starlight shade here and this one called Blue Moon. I just love it so much. I really want to play more with the greens of this palette. I've only used it a couple of times, and I don't know why I didn't include it in my favorite eyeshadow palettes for spring. Dumb mistake. But this is just an absolutely gorgeous color story. The formula is incredible. So if you're looking for a rainbow palette, you will not go wrong with this one. I just think it is fabulous. I'm so glad I have this. So now I'm going to start into the brands. Now this is e.l.f. These are their little bite-sized palettes here. I'll open the lids here. This is the Rose Water palette here. Really enjoy this palette. My daughter got that for me, and I really like that one a lot. This matte here has some glitter particles in it that really don't show up on the lid, but it's still a nice palette. These are $3 a piece. This is the Truffles. This is probably one of my favorites of the 4 that I own. This silver shimmer here is really nice. And then we have the Hot Jalapeno, which is my absolute favorite of the 4 that I own. I just think it's a beautiful color story, and I love greens, and I really like the performance of this palette. And then the last one here is Berry Bad. This is probably my least favorite of the 4 that I own. It's not bad, it's just that the mattes aren't the greatest, and the shimmers are kind of just not as wowing as the other palettes. So again, this is the Berry Bad, Hot Jalapeno, Truffles, and Rosewater. This is the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. I really enjoy using this. It's got a really cool mix of some neutrals, but yet some pops of blues and greens. This is my favorite e.l.f. palette that I've ever tried, and I just think it's gorgeous. I got this off Amazon. The formula is super nice. The mattes are really easy to blend. The shimmers look really pretty on the lid, especially this light blue one called Lagoon. I just love it, and yeah, really enjoy this palette. Highly recommend getting this if you don't have it. And the last e.l.f. palette that I have is this. This is the Baked Eyeshadow Palette from e.l.f. This is kind of a mess. I've used this a ton. I love this palette. It's all shimmers, kind of a satiny shimmer formula. And so I usually will use this like with another all matte palette. But yeah, I really like this. I've had it forever, probably a couple of years, and I just used it again not too long ago, and it performed just fine. So yeah, really like this. Also got this off Amazon. NYX. This is the NYX Ultimate Palette, Sugar High it's called. This one, not one of my favorites. The formula just isn't that exciting to me. The mattes don't perform that well, and neither do the shimmers. I've only used it a couple of times, so I definitely want to give it one more chance. But yeah, I may be getting rid of this at some point just because it's just not what I wanted it to be. Not that exciting. The next NYX palette is the Ultimate Utopia. I love this. My son got me a gift card to Ulta, and I went and picked this up, and I absolutely adore this palette. I just think it's gorgeous. Now the formula isn't, you know, mind-blowing or anything, but it is a really nice, easy to use palette, and it gives you a large variety of shades. I think this would be really good for people that are just starting out in makeup. If you're wanting to kind of dabble in color, this would be great because it's not super vibrant. It's kind of a muted color story, which I like. And it does have a couple little pressed glitters in here. This chartreuse is just gorgeous. And yeah, I've created a couple of looks with this and just really liked how it performed. So yeah, I highly recommend getting this palette if you don't have it. The next brand is Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Jackie Aina palette. This color story is one of my absolute favorites. I just love this palette. This purple bigwig shade here is awesome. This kind of gold shimmer Dwalas, I love it. This one here is beautiful. Zam and Soleil is really nice. I just think this is a really cool color story. And yeah, I really like the formula of this palette a lot. I only have one other Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, but this one is amazing. I got this through Ipsy for like 20 bucks, which was like half off. The next one is the Abh Riviera palette. I love this color story. I think it's so nice. It even comes with a little brush that I haven't used. I love the shimmers. I just think they're so beautiful, and I've really enjoyed the formula of this palette, and the mattes are really nice. I think this is another perfect palette for spring or summer. I don't know why I didn't include that in my first video, but hey, live and learn, right? And I just think the packaging is really cute. I love the navy blue and white stripes. The next brand is W7. This is a UK brand that primarily does dupes of other palettes. I know that can kind of be a little bit controversial because I think people get a little bit annoyed that they are like stealing the intellectual property of the original creator. I guess how I look at it is that it's just a cheaper version of the palette, and because I look for more affordable palettes, I just wanted to try this out just to see if I like the formula or not. This is the On the Rocks. This is a dupe for the ABH Subculture palette. I really did like this. It's not necessarily my favorite, but I thought it performed fine. This Champagne Toast shimmer here is really nice. This matte called Body Shot I thought was really good too. I know Nikki Raven has done a video with this palette, and I'm pretty sure she got on with it okay. But yeah, I don't think it's anywhere near the quality of the ABH palette, of course, but I think it was like $5 or $6, and you know, I enjoy it. It's not my favorite, but it's nice. The next one is the Whatever palette. This is the ABH Riviera dupe. Now, this one I did not enjoy using. I was really happy that I found that ABH, the original. I got that one at Marshall's for half off. You know, the thing is, this formula just isn't that great. I hate to say negative things about palettes because I know, you know, people went through probably a lot of work to make this, but I just wasn't impressed with the formula at all. The shimmers are super sheer. They flake off. It just really didn't stay on my lid. Even if I used a glitter glue or sprayed my brush, it just didn't really work. And the mattes just are not that great. So yeah, I don't know that I'm going to keep this palette. And the last one is the Total Eclipse. This is a dupe for the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. This one's not too bad. The mattes are really nice. The shimmers are, I don't know, it takes more work than I think is necessary. But yeah, it's fine. I mean, I would much rather have the Huda Beauty original palette. But yeah, I mean, this was like $7. So, I mean, really, can I complain? No. But the shimmers just aren't that spectacular. The mattes actually are really nice. But yeah, I would much rather have the original of this palette. The next brand is a brand that I found on Amazon called You Can Be. This is the My Honey palette. This is actually a really affordable, nice palette. I think this was like $7 or $8 on Amazon. And I really like the formula of this palette. The shimmers are nice, the mattes are nice, and I really love these kind of mustardy, brownish, yellowish tones. But yeah, I really like this palette. There's a few in this line of varying color stories, and I'd like to try out another one because I like this one. The next You Can Be palette is the Fruit Pie Filling. This is a really pretty rainbow palette. I was really impressed with the formula of this one, and I love all the pretty vibrant shades. I think it's obviously a little bit more pink red leaning, but yeah, I've really enjoyed making looks with this. I've gotten compliments on them when I've used this palette, and it was really cheap. I think it was like $10 or $11 on Amazon, and just really like it. I think it's really pretty, and the packaging is super cute. And then the last You Can Be is the Spotlight palette. This is a very vibrant rainbow palette. I was very impressed with the formula of this. It's not nearly as good as the Be Perfect Love Tahiti. But yeah, it is still a really nice palette. The formula is good, and it's very affordable. I think this one was maybe $12 or $13 off Amazon. So yeah, I've enjoyed using this. The next grouping of palettes is from Profusion. I talked about a couple of these in my springtime palettes as well. This is the Royals. This is kind of a muted rainbow color story. I have not used this palette yet. Maybe I'll do a video with it, who knows? But yeah, I really love Profusion's formula, and I think this is a really cool color story. It's just a nice little palette to use, and great for beginners. Profusion has a really nice formula for people that are just starting out with makeup. The next one is the Sapphires. This is a more blue palette, and I like the fact that there's the neutral aspect of it as well. I think this is perfect for people that are just starting out with colorful shadows. That way you can kind of tone it down if you want to, or play with the more vibrant blue shades. The shimmer formula in Profusion is so awesome. I love it, and I think it's really good for me having mature lids. So if you have mature lids, I think this is a great brand to try, and I've really enjoyed playing with this one. The next is the Emeralds palette. This one I talked about in my favorite eyeshadow palettes for spring. I love this color story. I love this formula. This is just a really fun green palette. And again, it does have those neutral options as well. So if you're just getting into color and you're a little nervous, this will kind of help slowly warm you up. But yeah, I love the shimmers. Like I said, I just think they have such a nice shimmer formula for mature lids. And the green shades in here are beautiful. I also have the Rubies. This is an all red color story. I love this palette. This is probably, besides the green one, this is probably my favorite. This is just so beautiful. I love red shades, and this gives you kind of a, you know, brighter reds, but maybe a little bit more muted as well. And again, shimmers are fantastic. So highly recommend this one. Then we have the Citrine palette. I talked about this in my spring eyeshadow palette video as well. I love this color story. I just think it's so pretty, perfect for spring and summer. This yellow matte here is gorgeous. The shimmers, again, can't beat them for mature lids. And I just really enjoy using the Citrine palette. The next brand I have to talk about is Milani. I have a couple of their Most Wanted series. These I got at TJ Maxx. This is the Burning Desire, and this is a really nice little palette. I love Milani as a brand. I just think they have such great products. Their blushes are some of my absolute favorite, if not my favorite. This is a really nice formula, and I think it's a really easy color story, great for beginners, and can create a nice, quick, easy look with this palette. And like I said, the formula is really nice too. The next one is the Olive Outlaw, and this has more of a green, kind of grungy color story. And I love this one. I think the formula is great. Really enjoy creating looks with this. And again, just a very easy color story. Create a nice, quick look with this palette. Then the next, I have a few of their Everyday Eyes. This is the Modern Mattes. This is an all matte palette. And I love this. This is such a pretty color story, and the formula is excellent. These are so easy to blend and to use, and I'm really happy that I picked these up. Again, got these ones at TJ Maxx too. They were like $2 or $3. The next one is the Romantic Mattes. This is another all matte palette. This is kind of a, oops, excuse me, kind of a mauve color story. And I just really enjoy this palette as well. I just think it's a really pretty color story, very easy to use. The formula is fabulous, and got this at TJ Maxx for a couple of dollars as well. So really like using this. And then the next one is the, let's see, Smoky Essentials. And this one I really like to use too. And it's cool because these palettes come with these little brushes. This blue shimmer here is really nice. So is this gray shimmer. And yeah, the formula is very solid in these palettes. They're just really easy to use, and I really enjoy it. The next one is the Soft and Sultry. Hi, see me. This actually is one of my top 5 favorite palettes that I own. Yes, it's a neutral color story, but I just love the performance of this palette. I actually wore this when I got married in August. And I know a lot of people will say that it's warm tone. To me, this is a more cool tone palette. At least that's how it kind of comes off on my eyelids. The shimmers in this palette are perfect for mature lids. I so enjoy this. I've created some really pretty soft, just classy looks, and I just think this is such a pretty palette. The next one is the Bold Obsessions palette. This one's really nice. Same exact formula as the other one I just showed, the Soft and Sultry. I've heard that actually they are going to be discontinuing these palettes, which bums me out because these are so nice, and I would love for everybody to be able to use them. It's got a good mix of mattes and shimmers. There's a little bit more variety in the color story, obviously, than the one I just showed. But the formula of these palettes is fantastic, and they're very affordable. And then the last one in that series is the Pure Passions. And again, sorry for all the gross fingerprints. This is a more warm tone palette, very neutral. But again, the formula of these is just so nice, and I really enjoy using these. I just wish that they weren't discontinuing these because they're awesome. So the next brand I'm going to go through is BH Cosmetics, and I have a ton of BH Cosmetics palettes. This is the Royal Affair. This was one of the very first palettes I ever purchased. I got this at Ross. I loved using this palette so much. I haven't used it recently, just obviously have a lot of palettes to use, but I had so much fun playing with this palette, and it was really nice for me being a beginner and just learning about makeup. I've panned several shades in here, and I really enjoyed this palette. I know it's not everybody's favorite, and unfortunately, it's no longer available through BH. They just discontinued this. But yeah, this has a lot of good memories for me. I created a lot of really fun looks with this, and really just kind of fell in love with makeup with this palette. The next one is the BH Cosmetics Sylvia Ganni palette. I love this color story. It's got some neutral options and some pops of color. It's got a couple highlighter shades on the side here, which I think is cool. This is a great formula. I don't know that it's BH's best formula, but it's still a really nice palette. I don't know that this is still available. So I don't want to show palettes that you can't readily get your hands on, but it might still be. I'm not sure. I did get this at Ross's, I believe, and it was very affordable. And yeah, it's just a really nice kind of muted color story, but it's really pretty, and I enjoy using it. Created some really pretty looks with it. The next one is the Glam Reflection Rosé palette. This is a really nice neutral color story. I've only used this, I think, once, but I really did like the formula. Maybe not BH's best, but I still think it's very nice, and some really pretty soft, satiny shimmers in here that I just think are beautiful. So yeah, another really nice BH palette. The next one is the Nuvo Neutrals, and this has shadows and blush inside. This is just a really warm tone neutral palette. The row of blushes is on the bottom here, and I love this kind of gold shimmer in the middle here. I've used it with this kind of purpley matte, and I just think it looks so pretty. I don't know how well you can see that purple up there, but yeah, this is a really nice palette. The blushes are gorgeous, and I think this is a really nice BH formula. I'm pretty sure you can still get this palette, not positive, but yeah, really enjoy this one a lot. This is the Solar Flare BH Cosmetics palette. This is an all shimmer baked formula. Now they have probably the best baked shimmer formula that I've ever used. This is just such a beautiful palette. It looks like liquid metal on your lid. I just love all the different tones in here, and there's some duochrome shades. This one here called Photosphere is just gorgeous, and that purpley one here, Magnetic, is really nice too. It kind of shifts from purple to pink. I got this at Marshall's, I believe, for like $5 or $6, but I still think this is available on the BH website, so highly recommend getting this if you can. Then we have the Desert Oasis palette from BH Cosmetics. This is one of my favorites. It does have kind of some face palette options here, different highlighters, and this you could even use like as a bronzer, this one or this one. This is just a really nice formula, and I've thoroughly enjoyed using this. I've created some beautiful looks with this. Yes, it's a little bit of a tamer neutral palette, but I really enjoy the formula and just think it makes a really classy look, which I enjoy. The next one is the Summer in Saint Tropez. Now this is a beautiful color story, very vibrant. There are some neutral options, but you do get some really nice pops of color. This Pampelone shade, this Intoxicating, this kind of mustardy yellow crepe shade. I just think this is a really nice palette because it gives you more than just one option. So, and it's a great formula, and I think the packaging is cute. The next one is the Blueberry Muffin. This is part of their Weekend Vibes series. I just think this is so beautiful. I have been so impressed with this formula. I think this might be one of their best formulas that they have created this far, and I hope they continue to make palettes with this same exact formula. It's so fun because you get the mix of neutrals and colorful options, and I've created some really pretty looks. Blue shadows aren't necessarily my favorite just because I don't think I'm experienced enough to create like out of this world blue looks, but this palette has been really easy for me to use, and I like that it's kind of like a mix of purple and blue. So yeah, I really enjoy this palette, and highly recommend getting this if you can. The next one is the Romantic Nomad palette. This one is really nice. The pans are kind of small, which I was kind of shocked about when I opened it up when I got it, because the picture led me to believe that the pans would be bigger, but they're fine. You can get a brush in there. It's totally fine. This lavender shimmer is gorgeous, and so is this kind of periwinkle blue, purpley shimmer. I think this is an excellent formula. I think this is a really pretty color story, and have really enjoyed using it. The next one is Smitten in Switzerland. Now this palette is one of my favorites. This has got a really nice mix of neutrals and colorful, kind of more muted maybe, but this formula is amazing, and I've really enjoyed creating looks with this. BH just has some of the best palettes I've ever used, and they're so affordable. This is the Trendy in Tokyo. This is their rainbow palette, and I love this one. I haven't used it a whole lot, but I definitely want to get this out and use it during the spring and summer. Excellent formula, beautiful shades, very vibrant, and just really love this, and it was very affordable. I think I got this on their website for like 50% off, so they have great sales on their website all the time. The next one is the Avocado Toast. I talked about this one in my spring, favorite spring palettes. I love this color story. I've created some beautiful looks with this, and yeah, I love the greens in here. The greens are my absolute favorite, and I love the packaging. I think it's super cute. And then this beauty. This is the Sweet Shop Pistachio palette. Oh my gosh, I just love this so much. Green eyeshadows are my absolute favorite, and this just does not disappoint at all. The shimmers are just spectacular. The mattes are lovely. I cannot wait to use this more during this time of year. I think it's just going to be wonderful. So yeah, highly recommend picking up these palettes. I really wish I had picked up more of these. There's multiple color stories in this formula, and I don't know, maybe I will at some point, who knows, but I love this so much. Then I do have the Opalescent palette. This is the one I talked about in my spring eyeshadow palettes as well. And this is a nice neutral color story. The formula of this palette is really nice. I love the shimmers and the mattes equally. And yeah, just really enjoy using this. I also got the Naughty palette. This was a Christmas release, and this color story is just spectacular. The formula of this palette is amazing. I really have enjoyed playing with it. I haven't played with it as much as I'd like to, so definitely want to get this out and use it a lot more. I did wear this the other day to work and use this chestnut shade down here, this pressed glitter, and it was beautiful, and it went on really easily, came off really easily. So yeah, if you're nervous about using pressed glitters, I think this would be a perfect formula for you to try. And this is just an amazing palette. Super awesome. Then I have this Ultimate Matte. This is a 42 color shadow palette. This one I use a lot with my all shimmer palettes, like the one I showed you from Wii Makeup. But yeah, this is just a really solid matte palette, and you have a wide variety of shades, some neutral, some colorful, and really happy that I got this. I think the formula is beautiful, and yeah, really enjoy this. Then I have the Zodiac palette from BH Cosmetics. This is beautiful. Now this has that baked shimmer formula in it as well, and I just really enjoy using this. It's got a highlighter in the center. I love the different colorful options that it gives you, and yeah, love this palette. I got this for 50% off on their website and just really enjoy it. And then my last BH is the Love Signs Zodiac palette. I also talked about this in my springtime palette video, and this is another solid palette from BH. It's got that gorgeous baked shimmer formula in there and a highlighter in the center. I love the color story, and really am going to be using this a lot coming up here, and I'm really happy that I have this palette. It's gorgeous. My next group of palettes is from Juvia's Place. They have these little kind of monochromatic palettes, and this is one that's called the Taupes. This is a really nice palette. It's not my favorite of these little monochromatic palettes, but you know, it's nice, and I do love cool tone shades, so I enjoyed using this. It just wasn't as great as I was hoping it would be. Then we have the Mauves. This one is really nice. I love, they have kind of a pressed glitter shimmer formula in these that works really nicely. I think this is a beautiful color story. I love Mauves, and the formula of this palette is incredible. Then we have the Chocolates. I love this palette. It's got some of the most beautiful brown shades I've ever used. I love the shimmers and the mattes. I've created some beautiful looks with this and highly recommend picking this up. It's neutral, but it's just gorgeous. The browns are just stunning. Then I have the Nubian Royal. This is amazing. I love this palette. I love purple shadows, so this totally just feeds my purple shadow craving. This is kind of a pressed glitter. Well, no, this is more the pressed glitter, and it actually looks beautiful on the lid. It's really easy to apply and remove, and yeah, I love this palette. Love it. Then I do have the Nubian 3 Coral. I talked about this in my spring palette video. And I love the mix of cool and warm tones in this palette. The formula is beautiful. These silvery gray shimmers are just gorgeous. And I love this coral shimmer down here as well. So another beautiful palette from Juvia's Place. This is the Afrique by Juvia's Place. I love the packaging of their palettes. They're so beautiful. At first, this kind of threw me a little bit because of the blue background. I don't know why, but it did. But this color story is just beautiful. I think the shades are so vibrant. Beautiful formula as well, and just a great palette from Juvia's Place as well. This is the Saharan by Juvia's Place. This is more of a neutral color story, but it's got this really pretty pop of red, and it also has a great black matte as well. And this is another beautiful color story and really nice palette to use from Juvia's Place. This is the Saharan 2 by Juvia's Place. Love the packaging. This is a really unique color story. At first I was kind of like, what am I going to do with this? But I've played with it a lot and I really enjoy it. This blue shimmer here, Berber, I think it's called. Yeah, it's just incredible. And I love this white kind of cream colored shimmer as well. The mattes in this palette are beautiful, and you can create a really wide variety of different looks with this as well, which I appreciate. Then my favorite Juvia's Place palette. This is the Nomad. I love this color story so much. I love the grungy shades, this mustardy yellow. It is a matte with a shimmer in it. The shimmer just kind of falls off your lid. I don't really know why brands do that, but it does look really pretty in the pan. And the shimmers in here, the mattes, everything. I just adore this palette and I love using it. Then we have the Nubian 2. This is a really cool color story. I love the shimmers in here. Juvia's Place has probably the best shimmer formula that I've ever used. And this palette, for some reason, the shimmers just totally wow me. And I just think this is a really nice palette. And then my last Juvia's Place is the Magic Mini. Now this is incredible too. I love the color story. I've used this Faso shimmer. It's kind of a periwinkle blue and I just loved how it looked. It's got this really nice deep blue and blues can be really hard to formulate and this one is just gorgeous. It's not patchy, goes on really easily, blends out really nicely, and yeah, I highly recommend getting this palette. I just think it's incredible. The next brand is Wet n Wild. These are their newer little palettes that they just came out with. This is called Petalette. I got this at Walmart for like, I don't know, $4 or $5. This is a really nice color story. I do like the formula of these palettes. I've seen some reviews where people weren't really that impressed with it, but I really liked it. And yeah, I'm really glad I have this. It's just a nice, cute little palette. This is another one of their new one. I think this is called Lights Out. I ripped the sticker off. But yeah, I love this cool toned color story and the formula of these I think is wonderful. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. These palettes are so affordable and they sell them at the majority of the drugstores where I live. So yeah, I was really happy that I got this. This is the kind of mustard yellow color story. This is called Call Me Sunshine. This is a beautiful palette. I love the shimmers. I love the mattes. Again, great formula. Like I said, I know that people just weren't real thrilled with these, but I have had no problems using these. So I recommend them. They're cheap. They're nice. They're just great little palettes. Then I have a few of these little palettes. This is the Not a Basic Peach. These are really nice too. These are great for beginners. The formula is very easy to use. There's not a lot of fussing or having to, work really hard to create a look. They're just really easy. This is a really easy formula to use and I like this color story. This is the VI Purple. I really enjoy using this palette. I haven't used it a ton, but the purple shimmers in here are really nice and great formula, perfect for beginners. This is the, let's see, whoops, Cosmic Collision. This is another really nice little palette of Wet n Wilds. I love the shimmers in this palette. Yeah, just really pretty. And then the last one is the Comfort Zone palette. This is one of my favorites that I own from this brand. This is such a pretty color story, so easy to use, very cheap, and love it. The next brand I want to talk about is Violet Voss. This is the All of You Forever palette. I got this in a BoxyCharm and I just love this color story. However, it's missing the olive for me, with the exception of Olive Glow. I mean, there's really not a whole, well, Olive Me and All of You, sort of green. But I wish that they had used more green shades in this palette since it is called All of You Forever. But I've used this a couple of times. I love the formula. It's fine. I mean, it's not, out of this world, but I've created some pretty looks with this and I do like this palette. Just wish it had a few more green shades in there. The next one is the Fruit Sorbet. This is a really pretty rainbow color story. I have not used this palette yet. I do want to try this out. Maybe make a video out of it if you'd be interested. But I do think that the colors are absolutely gorgeous. This is the Creme Brulee. Oh, by the way, all of these little ones I got in my Ipsy. This is a really nice color story. But yeah, I really enjoyed using this. I think I've only used it once or twice, but I did like it and just think it's a really pretty neutral color story. Then the last one is the Berry Burst. This is a really pretty palette, but again, not a lot of berry in there. I mean, the bottom row is pinkish, but would have preferred to have some more berry tones, maybe some just deeper berry purpley shades. Sorry if you can't really see. I'm trying not to show all the stuff in the background. But yeah, I do like this. Haven't used it yet, but we'll definitely be giving it a try. The next brand I'd like to show is Morphe. I have several Morphe palettes. I know not everybody likes the brand. They've been kind of involved in some drama-y type stuff, but you know, I enjoy the brand and I like the palettes that I have, so hopefully I'm not offending anybody. This is the Morphe and Manny MUA Glam palette. This is a nice palette. It just wasn't as wowing as I thought it would be. The highlighter shades over here are really nice, and the palette itself is decent. It's just not as exciting or as wonderful formula-wise as I was hoping it would be. But this is a really cool duochrome shade here called Aries. You can't really see the shift in this lighting, but yeah, I mean, it's a nice palette. It's just not necessarily my favorite one. The next one is the Making Bank palette. I really like this color story a lot. I love this green here, of course, but I think it's a really nice mix of neutrals, yet some pops of color. And yeah, I really enjoy using this. I haven't used it a ton. My son got me a gift card and I picked this palette up with that, but definitely want to be using this more because I really enjoyed the look I created with it. The next one is the So Iconic. I got this one at TJ Maxx, and I really enjoyed using this. This blue shimmer down here, it's called Everything. I really like that a lot, and it does have a black matte. It's called Jaw Drop, and yeah, I just think this is a really nice Morphe palette. Pretty color story. This is the Color Me Cool. I remember Angelica Nikivas doing a video on this, and she did not like this palette at all. I think it's nice. It's not my favorite. The formula of this is kind of strange. It doesn't really perform as well as I was hoping it would because I just love the vibrancy of these colors, but it is a decent palette. I don't know that you necessarily need to race out and get this, but yeah, I did enjoy using this palette, and we'll definitely use it again. This is the Just a Crush palette. I got this from my stepdaughter for my birthday last year, and I love this color story. This is a really nice formula, and I just think this is a really pretty palette, and definitely I'm going to be using this more. This is the Smoke and Shadow palette. This is a very cool tone color story. I have not used this yet. Definitely need to get this out and play with it. I really do like the color story. I really enjoy grays and just, you know, cool tone palettes in general. So yeah, I am excited to use this one. This is the Painted Desert. This is a very warm toned palette. I really enjoyed using this. I love the formula. I love the color story, and just think this is a really nice palette to use. This next one is called the Copper Spice palette, and this is a very neutral palette. A lot of these palettes have kind of an excess of shades that are very similar to one another, which, you know, I guess if you're a makeup artist, that would be really cool to have on hand, but, you know, I don't know that I necessarily need all of these neutral shades, but this is a nice formula. I've created some pretty looks with this, and we'll definitely continue to use it. This next one is the 35C. This is the Everyday Chic palette, and sorry that it's so messy. I just used this the other day. I absolutely love this palette. I love the color story. The pressed glitter right in the center there is really nice. I've used that a couple of times, and yeah, again, this does have some repeating shades in there, but I love these darker shades on the bottom here, and just really enjoyed using this palette. This next one is the Plum Pleasures palette, and this is a neutral palette with some pops of purple in there. I really do enjoy playing with this palette, and whoops, sorry, I keep cutting out of the frame there. I got this on their website for, like, I think you could get 2 for the price of 1 or 50% off, something like that. But yeah, I really enjoy this palette. It's a beautiful formula, but again, a lot of the repeating shades. This is the 35W Warm It Up. This is another really neutral color story. I do really like using this palette. I've used it several times, and I've really liked the looks I've created. It's got a good mix of shimmers and mattes, but we see a theme here with the kind of recurring colors in the palette. This is the 35M Morphe palette, the Boss Mood. I just got this pretty recently with a gift card from my son. I think this is an absolutely beautiful color story. I have yet to use this, so I definitely want to get this out and play with it. Maybe I'll create a look in a video for you guys. I love the kind of greenish yellow shades up at the very top. Oh, those just get me. And yeah, really excited to get this out and play with it. And then my last Morphe palette is the big one. This is the Such a Gem palette. This is my favorite Morphe palette that I own. It's got pretty much every shade of purple you could ever think of. I love this row in the middle. It's kind of like a, I think they call it a silky shimmer formula, and it's kind of more of a topper shade or topper shades, but I just love using this. It's so fun, and I love purple eyeshadows. And you know, it's a little large, maybe a little excessive, but I just want to use every single shade in this palette, and definitely want to get this out again and play with it some more. Alrighty, so we have come to the end of part 1 of my eyeshadow palette collection video. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day or evening to hang out and watch this. I know this was a very long video. Just wanted to show you guys all of my eyeshadow palettes. There's still more to come, so stay tuned for part 2. If you're new here and you like what you see, I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and again, I just really appreciate you taking time to watch my video. So I hope you guys are well. Take good care of yourselves, and part 2 will be coming soon. Thank you again. Bye.